Hey, my handsome ladies and gentlemen, this is Shmeaty. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new. Florges is the newest Pokemon in Pokemon Go to receive a Community Day, and its Community Day move is Chilling Water. Chilling Water being a Water-type clone of the charge move Icy Wind. At 45 energy, 65 damage, this move is probably one of the best things they could have implemented into Florges' moveset, because it allows Florges to have some form of play into steel types, whereas before, if Florges saw a steel type, it was packing it up, putting the fries in the bag. Nevertheless, we are going to lead our Shadow Charizard. I recently just built this Shadow Charizard, and it is going to be on Ember for the Ultra League, because if I see a singular steel type outside of this team, because I tried running the same team with Kingdra, I saw a steel type and I lost, so we were trying not to do that. Also, don't ask me what happens if I see an Empoleon, okay? That's illegal. Nevertheless, we are going to save switch our Shadow Cradily, which is met, unfortunately, with a Virizion. Virizion going to go for the Sacred Sword, but we are going to be able to make 2 Rock Tombs, and the acids are adding up in this matchup. So, we are going to not be able to grab a shield here, but I can pivot back into my Charizard, and the energy lead is all I'm looking for here. I make a very brazen call and assume that they're not going to be on Stone Edge. If they were, that might have been game over, but I am going to go for the Air Cutter up against the Ampharos that gets brought in. And now, I'm clicking my Blast Burn button. This is the dopamine button. Hopefully this Blast Burn connects. It connects onto the Ampharos. They drop one shield, they drop their Ampharos. In comes the Typhlosion. Typhlosion now behind in terms of energy, and we are going to be able to land a Air Cutter onto it. However, they are going to be able to retaliate with a potential Blast Burn, but I no-shield it, anticipating that they think, okay, Florges is a debuffing Pokemon now, so they're going to go for the Chilling Water. I can land the Blast Burn after the Chilling Water and bait with a Thunder Punch. I read that play, and now I'm going to be able to successfully shield up what could be a Blast Burn, but looks like they're content with going straight Fire Punch here, but that allows them to get outpaced, and now we can just go for the Chilling Water onto the Typhlosion. And that's another good thing about the move Chilling Water, is that, again, Florges used to be completely useless up against a Fire-type Pokemon, and now it has a lot of play. They are going to have a Corviknight in the next lead, and now another safe switch Ampharos. I don't know what this Ampharos is all about, like this uprising in terms of Ampharos. Not entirely sure. I have nothing to do with this. I think this Pokemon's a fraud. But yeah, nevertheless, I'm going to go for the Rock Tomb up against the Ampharos. They are going to shield it up. They are going to now be -1 in terms of attack and fire off what's likely going to be a Brutal Swing. I'm going to let it go. It's a Trailblaze, and the Trailblaze is going to be just enough to KO. I'm now going to bring in the Florges, as Florges does resist Brutal Swing. But they did already show Trailblaze. They only go for the Brutal Swing there, maybe looking to get some damage off on the Florges before they are -2 in attack. So, Chilling Water picks up the KO onto the Ampharos, and they are going to have a Zapdos in the back. Now, this is a very important full send dopamine button go. Blast Burn one-shots the Zapdos, in comes the Corviknight, but not for long as the opponent top lefts. Getting into the next one, Charizard leads into Steelix. Now this is a little bit of an uncomfortable lead, but since this is the Ultra League, I'm comfortable with staying in, building up to the Blast Burn, and just sending the Blast Burn, because honestly, I have a dopamine button, and I'm going to continue to click it, okay? So Blast Burn gets the shield from the Steelix, and now I'm going to look to rebank some energy, then pivot out. I am down to about 50% HP, and you might think that this is a waste of my Charizard health, but I can get either both shields or just straight up a KO on the Steelix at the very start of the game. I feel like this is very much worth it. Blast Burn connects onto the Steelix, and we get away with a shield advantage and switch advantage. That is going to be helpful getting into the next mid-game matchup, as it is going to be Shadow Cradily up against Shadow Lapras. Shadow Lapras does hit a lot harder than the regular. I am going to shield it up. They just go for the Sparkling Aria, unfortunately for me, but I am going to shield it up regardless, because an Ice Beam in this matchup would not be a very comfortable no-shield, especially not without a Rock Tomb debuff. I am now going to switch into the Florges, whatever they throw here. I'm comfortable with no-shielding because it is now -1. They go for the Ice Beam. Ice Beam is going to land onto the Flower Pokemon, but it is not a Grass-type Flower Pokemon. In comes a Hex Drifblim. This person on the enemy side, definitely also a pacing gremlin just like I am. I'm going to go for the Chilling Water as soon as I can on good timing. Unfortunately, wasn't really an opportunity to do that before they were able to fire off their own Icy Wind. That's okay. I'm going to go for a 3 Fairy Wind and Moonblast play, as I was pretty confident that Florges would win CMP. I would actually be pretty shocked to find out if Florges were to lose that. I don't think it does, though. They are going to go for yet another Icy Wind, as they are forced to. And now I can look to overfarm with my Cradily here, but I have to overfarm carefully. They go for the Icy Wind, and they are lowering the damage output of the Cradily here, but if they don't shield up this move, I might be able to get the acid down. They are going to have to shield up, and now it's all on if they try to catch, but they don't try to catch, maybe underestimating how much energy the Cradily had left. Rock Tomb connects, and now they have to make an Ice Beam with their Lapras, even -2. Cradily able to get that farm down. GG's. Okay, on paper you might think, okay, this is a truly good matchup, Fire type into a Fairy type, and it seems like the opponent seems to think the same way. I'm going to build up a truly massive amount of energy, then bring in my Florges. Sometimes I was really, sometimes you miss the Trailblaze for, matchups just like this, but I'm very happy to bring in the Florges here and just go straight Chilling Water, because Chilling Water is a truly broken move. There's a lot of reasons why we didn't have a Water type clone of the move Icy Wind before this, and that's because Water type is a very potent typing offensively. It's kind of the similar ideology as to why we don't have a good Water type fast move at all, because that would break the game and everything would be centralized around that. That's why you always see Water types at the top of the meta. I know you guys are tired of me yapping, so I'm going to bring in the Cradily into the Gastrodon. Cradily looking for that full acid farm down, not going to be able to get it before Gastrodon's able to make a move, but it doesn't matter what Gastrodon throws here. Even if it's the Earth Power, it is -2 because of the Chilling Waters, so we're able to get that resisted acid farm down, and now in comes Togekiss, but Togekiss not going to be a fan of these Cradily moves. Rock Tomb does all of the Togekiss's health, and I'm very happy with just committing a shield and fully farming down that Togekiss. In comes a Jellicent looking to throw the Grass Knot on good timing. Grass Knot going to be fired at the Jellicent. We're going for the hard-hitting Grass Knot. They called the bait, hoping that we would send the Rock Tomb, as that was their only way to stay alive in that game. They realize it, and top left. GG's. Getting into the next game, it is going to be Charizard leading into Dusknoir. Dusknoir does a lot of fast move pressure, and although Charizard is substantially bulkier in the Ultra League as opposed to the Great League, this is still not a very comfortable matchup to stay in. So once again, we're going to build up to 7, fire off the Blast Burn as soon as we can. Blast Burn does grab the shield from the Dusknoir. I opt to stay in, throw 4 Embers, and I was hoping to try to get a catch and a sneak with my Florges, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So in comes a Wall Rain. And Wall Rain not going to be very comfortable with no shielding a potential Blast Burn, but they no shielded anyway. I am not complaining. There goes about 80% of that Wall Rain's health, and that will make this Pokemon a lot easier to deal with in the long run. They're going to fire off the Icicle Spear. In comes the Florges. Florges looking to tank 2 Icicle Spears and get the full farm down. I don't have to shield this move. We know this isn't going to be enough to KO. Florges is a rather glassy Pokemon, even by Ultra League standards, but with the help of Chilling Water, it helps it to artificially, at the very least, buff up its survivability. We are going to fire off a Chilling Water, and now we're able to get to a last-second Chilling Water, all off the back of that debuff. They switch into the Dusknoir, but Dusknoir, importantly, was not able to get an Astonish to sneak, I should say. And since they're not able to get the Astonish to sneak, the Florges is able to survive and switch out. So that is very huge. We now have to bring in the Cradily. I'm not going to be able to get the farm down that I need here. And now it's a very important decision. Do I shield? Do I not? I'm looking for the no shield of a Shadow Punch bait. And now they attempt to catch onto the Drapion, but Drapion is going to be able to fire off a move at the Cradily. Cradily forced to no shield. The Crunch still does quite a lot of damage, and I go for the Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb onto this Drapion. We're looking to fight back as hard as we can. It's looking to be a pretty difficult match to do so, and unfortunately they are going to be able to get the Poison Sting farm down of my Florges as I attempt to catch unsuccessfully. We go for the Rock Tomb, but we're not going to have enough energy to get rid of Dusknoir. GG's to this trainer. Getting into the next one, we do have Shadow Charizard leading into Shadow Scizor. Oh my goodness, this is what dreams are made of. They stay in to throw a or a bullet punch for no reason. That Ember did all of their health, and we just bank a move with the Charizard, bring in the Florges, and there is nothing this Pokemon can do. Yes, you might say, oh, they might have access to Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb's just not going to do enough damage to make up for the truly terrible typing matchup that is unfortunately in front of this Guzzlord right now. We are going to build up to nearly 100 energy, fire off the Chilling Water, look for the farm down, because if they ever pivot out, we didn't misalign switch long enough for it to really matter. Yes, they can bring in the Scizor, but they're just going to get hit with the Chilling Water and fully farmed down by the Blastoise. Can anybody in the class raise their hand and tell me what wants to switch in to a 100 energy Blastoise in the Ultra League? I don't have very many answers for you. No matter what they bring in, whether it's going to be the Guzzlord or their third Pokemon, it is getting hit with a Blast Burn. Blast Burn takes out the Guzzlord. In the back, they've got a Belly Bolt, and even Belly Bolt is not going to be comfortable with no shielding a Blast Burn. They're going to be forced to put up the shield or lose 60% of their health. I'm looking to reach a last-second Blast Burn. You guys are probably wondering, Shmeaty, why didn't we click the move on the CMP tie? I was actually anticipating that they would overfarm by one there, which I guess in retrospect doesn't really help me out that much. I'm going for the Air Cutter bait. Absolutely no reason to do this at all, but I do it anyway, and Charizard is going to get the full 1v3. The Chilling Water Florges absolutely not needed this game. The Cradily, pack it up. We are going to win that game off of the back of Charizard's efforts alone. What the hell is on my screen in this next match? Why is there a Golem here? Golem does have access to Legacy Rollout. This was a Legacy move that was introduced in Pokemon Go about 2 years ago in the summertime, 2023, I want to say. I don't know, dude. My memory is pretty bad. Anyway, going for the Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb up against the now Corviknight that switches in. Corviknight generally do not run Iron Head, which would be the move that they would like to throw at Cradily. At least the best move for them to throw at Cradily in their moveset. However, in their common moveset, they likely have Sky Attack, or excuse me, Air Cutter and Payback, and neither of those moves are particularly impactful into the Cradily. Also meaning that we can comfortably bring in the Fairy type into this Steel type Pokemon, and they are going to fire off the Air Cutter. They are at a net of -1 thanks to the fact that they are debuffed twice by Rock Tomb, and they boosted once thanks to their Air Cutter. So overall, they're at -1. Going to go for a Chilling Water, looking to make that -2 if they commit a shield, or likely they're just going to let it go. Down goes the Corviknight. It is going to be a team effort here. What is it they decide to bring in? They bring in their own Florges. Florges is going to get outpaced to the Chilling Water. I'm going to fire off my Chilling Water first to make sure that I can land a debuff onto their Florges, and we actually win the CMP tie. So unfortunately, I overfarmed by one there. If I throw one before, it kind of doesn't matter, but if I lost the CMP tie, it would have been a lot worse for me. In the back in comes the Golem. Why is this Pokemon here? Can anybody tell me? What are you looking for? My Charizard specifically? Jeez. Anyway, I'm going to fire off the Grass Knot, grabbing a shield from the Golem. Golem is going to likely fire off a Rock Tomb, or excuse me, not a Rock Tomb. Jeez, that would probably be scary, but they are going to fire off the Rock Blast, and Rock Blast is going to get rid of my Cradily. I'm going for the Chilling Water with my floor, just looking to make a last-second Chilling Water. I'm not going to be able to play into that CMP tie. As you could tell by that menacing look on that Golem's face, I'm pretty confident I would lose that CMP. They bring in their own Florges, and I have to... I really needed to bank that Chilling Water there, because although I'm going to be able to likely get this farm down, I don't have the move loaded. So, since I don't have the move loaded, if they're able to double up on Rock Tombs here, I just lose immediately. I look to bank the move with the Charizard. Charizard now -1 thanks to the Chilling Water. The rollouts are adding up quite a lot, the Rock type damage from those rollouts. I'm going for the Blast Burn. This is generally the dopamine button, but not today. I don't have the move loaded, and I'm 2 off. So if this Golem is doubled up, we lose the game immediately. Wild Charge number 1 grabs my shield, and Wild Charge number 2 will secure this game for the opposing trainer. GG's to them, very well played in terms of energy management. Charizard into Stunfisk in the next game. Not ideal, to be honest with you. I think I have to safe switch into Cradily here. Cradily, the softer of my 2 responses, but and I'm going to be met with a Shadow Alola Ninetales. But I'm comfortable with having the Cradley here because Cradley can clap back for massive super effective damage, especially after shielding one Weather Ball. I don't believe that second Weather Ball is going to put me in move plus farm down range, so I am going to build up past the initial CMP tie there because obviously they're probably going to look to throw on the CMP tie with the Cradley. I'm going to go for a Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb onto the Shadow Alolan Ninetales would potentiate a knockout, and they are going to shield it up, so they drop both shields, and now we're going to bring in the Charizard. Charizard looking for the full Ember farm down, looking to turn that Stunfisk matchup around. They are going to go for the Dazzling Gleam. They already showed Weather Ball. Not sure why they went for the Dazzling Gleam. Nevertheless, the back in comes the Stunfisk, looking to build up as much energy as I can, play into the CMP tie, and this Blast Burn is going to hurt. Blast Burn onto the Stunfisk, massive damage. Stunfisk not ready for that. It is quite bulky, but nothing eats a Shadow Blast Burn very well. In the back, they've got the Togekiss. Togekiss is going to now have to deal with the Chilling Water Florges. They're going to fire off the Aura Sphere. I look to make a catch the Aura Sphere successfully, and I believe that the Fairy type coverage for not for Florges, for Togekiss is actually super impactful in this league, so I make the catch of what I believe they're going to throw only to be in Aura Sphere. That was hardly English, but I make a catch on what I believe was only going to be an Aura Sphere, and now I'm going to look to keep energy. Unfortunately, they're able to catch my Moonblast onto the Stunfisk, but I don't think this matters because we should still be able to get the KO with the Stunfisk with that move there, and I could have just waited for them to farm down my Florges there, but I didn't want to risk one turn bring in, so I waited a turn, bring in the Charizard to make sure that we aren't accidentally catching a move, and fortunately for us, we're able to get that KO. In the next game, it is going to be Charizard leading into yet another Chilling Water Florges. Not the most solid response here, so I am going to go for one Air Cutter and then bringing in my own Florges here. You guys would probably think, okay, but why didn't we just bring in Cradley there? And that's because obviously they're going to pivot out immediately, but my Cradley would then just be debuffed. So I'm going to bring in my Florges. Florges is a very good Pokemon in the Ultra League at the very least. Because of Chilling Water, we're able to like flip matchups where we have no business flipping. Like if this Corviknight doesn't have Iron Head, it's going to have a truly terrible time getting rid of this Florges. Going for a second Chilling Water, especially if they don't get debuffs here, this is going to be a fine matchup for us. Back in comes Charizard. Charizard now looking to get a head-on energy up against the Corviknight. Corviknight going to fire off a Payback. Not going to do enough damage to scare the Charizard whatsoever because they were -2. They never got the Air Cutter boost. Going for the Dopamine button, Blast Burn onto the floor. Just do they shield it up? Of course they do. They are absolutely terrified of this pseudo Dragon type Blast Burn. They are going to shield up. Or rather, I'm going to shield up the Chilling Water. I'd really rather not get hit by that. I'm going to build up to their next move, catch it onto my Florges. This is a very dynamic game. Charge moves getting caught left and right. There's a whole bunch of energy being stored on the Charizard. Charizard very, very low, but still has the potential to land that hard-hitting Blast Burn. They do bring in their Corviknight. Corviknight going to be able to catch the Chilling Water. This game, I'm really loving the look of this game. It is just... I'm taking advantage of my 45-second switch timer. My opponent's catching my moves. I'm catching their moves. This is a good time. This is what GBL is all about. Unfortunately, generally what GBL isn't all about is getting your Pokemon sand attack down by Corviknight. Corviknight generally not going to be sand attacking anything down. I think I have to commit to the Acid down. They did get the Air Cutter boost there. I'm not going to shield. Cradley is the damage sponge here. They are going to go for the payback, but that is only a neutral payback thanks to the fact that we were able to land that Chilling Water earlier. Getting the snipe with the Charizard. What is it they decide to bring in? It's going to be a Feraligatr. I think I needed to click on Blast Burn here. I'm going to be very honest. This is one of those moments we would really love to have Trailblaze on our Florges. What am I talking about? The Florges is already dead. Going for the Blast Burn. They have to shield this up or it would do a massive amount of damage. They don't shield it up. And now, if they're able to make the back-to-back moves, this is going to be a very bad spot for us. In comes the Florges. Florges going to fire off a move. I don't think I can afford to shield it. It's just going to be the Chilling Water. Can we get this Acid farm down? We really need it, and unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get it. The opponent is going to win by the slimmest of margins, forcing my shield with the Chilling Water, and they have the move loaded with their Feraligatr. You see me not even reaching for my move because I don't even want to BS a win there. They have a shield, so it was going to be a win for them regardless. The game even went to timer in the very end, so that was a really fun game. Very well played to my opponent there. it is going to be Florges up against our Shadow Charizard, I should say. Man, I should really do multiple takes of these audios, but I'm cooking right now. So, nevertheless, they are going to bring in Licky Licky. I forgot this was a Pokemon. Unfortunately, I also forgot my timing, so they get a full rollout sneak. Unfortunate timing by me, but Chilling Water should be able to shore up some of our weaknesses in this matchup. They are going to fire off a move here. Generally, Licky Licky in the Ultra League like to run a lot of nuke moves. Sometimes they'll run Body Slam, especially now that it's been buffed recently, but they like to run a lot of nuke moves because their pacing is quick, they're a bulky Pokemon, and everything just lives a lot of moves in the Ultra League. That is a very, very watered down way of saying that, yeah, you're not going to be doing much damage with an XL Licky Licky in the Ultra League. You're really looking for your coverage to pull you through in the matchups that you are going to be winning. Nevertheless, in comes the Blast Burn. In comes the Blast Burn. In comes the Charizard looking to fire off the Blast Burn. They are not looking to call the bait, and they do have access to, of course, Chilling Water, so I'm going to have to shield up here. Maybe look to pivot out of my Charizard here. Don't think I'm going to be able to in time. Yes, we are! The catch of the Chilling Water on the 1 HP Florges. Absolutely massive. That is a 45-second switch timer play. Only possible because of the 45-second switch timer. Going to be able to fire off this Blast Burn onto the Florges. Florges is going to shield it up. I get to another Blast Burn thanks to that catch. We're able to outpace before the Florges is able to make the double Chilling Water. Down goes the Florges. In comes a Giratina in the back. Giratina on the newly buffed Dragon Breath. Now basically Dragon Wave, as it is a clone of Sidewave, firing off the Blast Burn. Even Giratina doesn't want to no-shield that damage, and there is absolutely nothing this trainer is going to be able to do. Firing off the Ancient Power, not a problem at all. They get the Ancient Power boost. It's not going to be enough. It's just not enough. Cradley is going to be able to tank whatever this is. Realistically, though, I think we should shield because the move we're going to be throwing here is the Rock Tomb. So if they get another Ancient Power boost, okay, we might actually possibly lose the game. So I go for the Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb is going to get the attack drop onto the Giratina, and they're going to be able to make a last-second move here. But once again, this just simply won't be enough. It's going to be the Dragon Claw. They're looking for that hard-hitting Dragon Claw, and I'm going to go for the BM. Grass Knot onto the Giratina is going to be enough to pick up the knockout. GG's to this trainer. We've now made it to the final game of the video, and it is going to be a pretty difficult lead. Leading Charizard up against a, what is this silly RPS frog? Oh yeah, Belly Bolt, yeah, that one. Niantic, okay, listen, I'm not the biggest YouTuber here, but if anybody from Niantic comes across this video, and specifically this portion, do not give this RPS frog Chilling Water. Okay, it's in its moveset. I know you guys are thinking about it. You're like, oh, that's going to make it such a dynamic Pokemon. No, that's going to make everybody that plays GBL have a horrible time. Don't do it. Anyway, I'm going to be firing off my Moonblast at the RPS frog. They are going to be able to tank it with no problem, as they are just going straight Parabolic Charge here. But because of the fact that they're on Sucker Punch, their pacing is worse, and I don't even think this is a range where I can get Sucker Punch down. I'm going for yet another Moonblast. If they don't shield this up, they are going to be in a very tough position. Moonblast is going to be shielded. No debuff by us. It is only a 10% chance, but nevertheless, I can just bring in the Cradley here and absorb all the energy they throw. They are going to throw early. That is not going to be enough for a Zap Cannon, so I'm going to no-shield. It's just going to be the Parabolic Charge. It is going to start chipping away at my health ever so slightly, but having this much energy lead, as well as 2 shields intact for the Shadow Charizard, we're up 2 shields. I don't think there's a lose con here. So I am going to no-shield this next move, and now I think I just make the aggro pivot into the Charizard. No, not quite yet. Now we make the aggro pivot into the Charizard, and now in comes a Moltres. Moltres going to have a truly terrible time up against the Charizard, going for the Blast Burn. Blast Burn, massive damage onto the Moltres. They're going to be able to make a last-second move here. We have to maximize energy on this Charizard as best as we can. They're going to go for the Fly. Fly shielded, and now we're going to build up to their next move, and unfortunately not able to get the Ember farm down, but we know that they're 6 away from a second Fly after they throw the first Fly, so I just throw the Air Cutter there, and now whatever they bring in is getting blasted. It's gonna be the Virizion. I don't know if Air Cutter would have done it here, probably not, so the Blast Burn connects onto Virizion. The screenshot for the boys, embering down the Belly Bolt. GG's to this trainer. If you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much for watching. So, Chilling Water Florges, why is this such a good update? Well, when you think of the types that resist Fairy, right? And of course, you're going to be running either Moonblast or Disarming Voice, but what types resist Fairy? Fire, Poison, and Steel. all of those types also resisted Florges' previous coverage or bait move, which was Trailblaze. And all three of those types, since they resisted, Florges did not have very much coverage, and when Florges was in a bad matchup or in a bad type disadvantage matchup up against a poison type, a steel type, a fire type, it didn't have much of anything to throw into those Pokemon. Now Florges can clap back against those Pokemon and hit them for, at the very least, neutral damage, and also debuff them in the process, which could help Florges in its previously negative matchups. Of course, there will be some slight instances where you will miss having access to Trailblaze, but I think overall this is a huge buff for Florges. I would look to build one for every single league. And if you have the resources, build one for every single league with both movesets, but Chilling Water especially. With all that being said, I've been Shmeaty. Thanks once again so much for watching. I hope to see you all again next time, and have a good rest of your day. See ya.